Hey guys, it's Caleb from RokBlokz. Today up on the lift, we have a FORD F250. This customer is getting our step back kit, so let's go ahead and take you along for the ride. The tools needed for your install are a level. You may need a mallet to help press in your flange nuts, an 1/8 inch Allen key, a 5.5 millimeter socket for undoing the screws on the front, a 10 millimeter socket for undoing the screws on the rear. This tool we have available on our website. Then you'll also need a drill with a 1/4 inch and 5/16 drill bit. And then you'll need a 4 millimeter Allen head. And those are the tools needed for the install. Here we have the front kit laid out. What you'll get in your kit is the front bracket, the front mounting plate, and your front flap, which will mount to your bracket. And then you'll get the hardware that comes in your kit. We'll go ahead and put the breakdown of that hardware on the screen right now. Alright, so on the bench we're going to assemble the step back bracket. So let's go ahead, dive down, and then we'll go ahead and get into that. What you'll need is your flap. We're going to take it, put it on the non-etched side. We're going to take our flange nuts and we're going to press them in from this side. Just with our thumb, just press them into the hex-shaped hole. Alright, now that all those are pressed in, we're going to flip it over. This customer opted to have a colored logo on their black flap, so we send out strips of vinyl, and now is the time to put those on. So we're just going to take it and peel our vinyl, get that vinyl, and then we're just going to center it between all 8 holes. Like so. Now we're going to prep our nuts with just a drop of thread locker. Just a small drop is all you'll need. Right, there we go. Now we're going to take it, slide our bracket up, take our flap, align the holes, take our 1/4 inch number 10 screws, get those lightly started. I like to start the corners. Makes it easier getting the rest of them in. Now that we've got those started, we're going to take it, we're going to square it up with the edge, making sure that it looks good. And I like to turn it on its side, and I'll watch it and watch the nut compress into it, and as soon as it just barely bottoms out, that's good, and that's as tight as you'll need it. So just repeat that for all 8. There we go. Now we're good to head over to the truck and begin installing. Here we are at the front of the vehicle. Before we begin mounting, we're going to go ahead, prep our mount plate. We're going to take this tab, bend it towards the side with etching. We're going to bend it like so, and we want that to relax to about a 45-degree angle. So, right about there. If it's a little overbent, the screw will pull it back. It'll settle into place, but you just want to bend it so that it molds to the inner part of the fender. Now we're going to take our M6 clips and put that onto our backing plate so that the extruded side is on the non-etched side. And then we'll just slide those, put them in the square hole, and slide them over the circle hole, like so. And then on these bottom 2, I'm just gonna slide those in place. Want those so that they are adjustable in and out, so that they will easily mold to where those OEM holes are. And now our last one, we'll go ahead and put that on. Alright, now that we have that over that hole, now we're going to go ahead and remove the 3 OEM screws from here, and the one just up inside here. That is just a 5.5 millimeter socket, so we'll go ahead and get those removed. We won't be reusing the bottom two, but we will reuse the upper mounting screw to mount our mount plate. Now that we've got that upper one out, we're going to take our bracket, I'm going to slide it behind the fender's edge, all along the fender here, and then we'll align this hole with the upper mount hole and put that screw back in. Just get the upper screw lightly started so that way it allows us to adjust the flap. We're going to take our longer 30mm screws and get that started to help align our two mounting points here. One thing you may run into is that the OEM screws and screw holes are a little bit off, so we're just going to take a 1/4-inch drill bit and open up the plastic here. We will not be drilling through the metal, but you just need to open up the hole in the plastic so that our larger M6 screws can pass through. Alright, all it takes is just a little turn of the drill, and now our M6 screw will fit through a lot easier. Now we just got to align it with the clip behind. Alright, with those screws started and aligned, we'll back them to where they're just barely one thread in. Like so. We'll remove this bottom one. Now we can take our metal bracket, and to prep it for the angle of the fender, I like to take it and put it over my thigh and just lightly contour it and bend it just with a nice soft radius like that. Now we can go ahead and if you swoop it under the head of this screw, you can get that one on and keep that aligned, and that'll help keep your bracket in place. Now we're going to take our bottom mounting screw. It's the larger 35mm button head. Put that with a washer and put that through the bottom plate. Now we can take our shorter 25mm button heads with washers, and that's going to align the upper two holes, which are in that mount plate that we've just mounted. Now we can take our 4mm Allen key and get these lightly snugged up. Those lightly snugged up, we can remove the one that we left in our bracket, remove it, place our washer on it, and put it right back in. Seeing as how we left that aligned, it should go right back in pretty easy. Now get that one snug. We can take our bracket and our level and check the level of our flap at this point. Adjust it to our liking. Also taking a moment to step back and make sure everything is looking good. Once you get it into position, we'll go ahead and fully secure all the hardware. And lastly, we'll finally secure the upper mounting point on our mount bracket. All right, with that fully secured, you can repeat those same steps on the other side. Now let's go ahead and get to the rear install. Here we have the rear breakdown. What you're gonna get in your kit is your rear step back bracket, your rear step back flap, your rear step back mounting spacer, your mounting bracket, and your shim. The main spacer fills the void. If you have a fender flare, that is where you use the extra shim provided. And this is a backing plate that captures the screws. And then also you'll get the hardware included in your kit. We'll go ahead and put that breakdown in the video right now. So now we're gonna go ahead and prep our rear flap to be installed on our step back bracket. We're gonna do it the same as the front. We're just gonna flip that over to the non-etched side. We're going to take our flange nuts and just press them into those hex-shaped holes. If your thumbs get sore midway through, you can just go ahead, line those up, give them a light tap. You want to make sure that the splines on the nut are lined with the hex shape, so that way you're not installing it wrong. They're snug, but going fairly easy. All right, now that we've got that ready, flip it back over. Gonna install our vinyl for our colored logo. There we go. Putting in our thread locker. Holding it up to our flap. Alright, so now we're just going to lightly get those all started. With that, we'll go ahead and secure those just until you barely fill it bottom out. Alright, now that we've got that fully prepared, we're good to go and take that over to the truck and install it. Now that we're at the rear of the vehicle, we're going to go ahead and prep by removing the 10mm screw on the bottom here. You might not need to do this if you don't have the flares, but if you have the flares, you'll need to remove this so that you can pull this out to gain access to match drill a hole here just through the plastic, not through any metal at all. And then we're going to remove down in here, if you'd like to come take a closer look, we're going to remove this Christmas tree insert here just by cutting it off and then removing the head. And that's the hole that we'll use for our lower mount point. We're just gonna align that, which is about 3/4 of an inch down from here and about an inch over from this edge. So we'll go ahead, get that done, get that match drilled. Now we're also going to remove the other screw from inside here. you'll remove this from your liner, and then you'll also have to pinch and push forward this clip that is in the hole on that back side. And then after you're done with that, now we're going to go ahead and match drill our third mounting hole. Now that we're at the back side of the fender, kind of on the inside here, the hole that we'll need to access is this one here. If you have the smaller splash guard inside your liner here instead of the full-on liner, it should have 3 inserts holding it on. You can just remove that one here. But these larger liners, the full liner, does not have it, so we're just going to take our 1/4 inch bit and match drill this inner hole, that middle hole right here. Just through the plastic. You don't need to go through any metal. And now we're going to return to the front side and match drill this front hole. Now we're just going to take our side cutters and go ahead and cut the back side of that insert. And we'll just push the rest out. Get that head out of there. Now you can see the hole that we have here. A good way to mark your hole is to put a screw through there, return this, and then just apply some pressure, and you'll start to see it dimple. So I'm going to go ahead and dimple that, putting our screw through our hole, aligning it, pushing, and it's hard to see on camera, but we have just a small dimple right there. Now we're going to go ahead, take our 1/4 inch drill bit, there we go. Now we'll take our 5/16 and open that up just a little bit more, just to make it easier. That's just through the plastic, not through any metal. Now we can go ahead, take our hardware kit, grab our nylon clip. That's going to go over the metal part of the flange and align with that hole right there. And now we're going to take our heavy duty bracket, the large spacer, and we're going to put that, the bottom hole, your nylon insert, the back of it will sit in that bottom hole, and that's just going to tuck right there into the liner, like so. Put that in place. We can take our short 1-inch screw, and we're going to begin by mounting the bottom hole first, by going through that, through the fender, and into our insert. Alright, now with that just barely started, we're going to take our long screws and put washers on them. Seeing as how this truck has a fender flare, we're going to use our shim that's included in the kit. We'll set that up right now, align that with the holes, go through both of them, and now we'll align it, and that's going to go through and come out on the back side. There we go. Align our holes there, and that's going to go through the fender where we drilled. With those like that, Now we can take our mount plate with the long clips on there, and we can go ahead, put that back there, get them started by hand, and then we'll go ahead, adjust our flap, and then make our final tightening. Now that we're at the back side, you can see where our long screws came through. We can go ahead and just go ahead and get those started. Now with those started, we'll go ahead and take our level, check our flap, set it to where we want, make sure it looks good, and now we'll go ahead and fully tighten all of our hardware, and then lastly, we'll return the last 10mm screw right back into this bottom hole on the fender flare. Now we'll take the last 10mm bolt, put that up through the bottom of the fender flare. Alright, and there you have it. That's your RokBlokz step back kit install. You can repeat those same steps on the other side. Thanks for watching.